Hey, it's Game Hydro. Today we're playing Planet Defense by the makers of Galaxy Defense. We're going to go over some tips, tricks, strategies, and whatnot to help you with the grind and to help you beat tough levels. All right, so for grinding, the auto patrol, you get 3 free auto patrols a day. All you got to use is energy, and then 5 auto patrols that you can watch an ad video for. Once again, all you got to use is energy. A lot of times, especially when you are not planning to play much that day, those are your best ways to continue grinding. More energy for players that play for multiple days. You can go to the stamina supply station. Be sure to claim them all. You get multiples popping up per day. Plus, of course, you can spend diamonds or watch ad videos for more stamina, which, if you play a ton, it can get a little annoying, but VIP status can help with that a little bit. Of course, VIP status is expensive. It is $10 for a month or $50 for a lifetime. Now, when you're stuck on a hard stage, one way to know how to beat it is to hit the question mark next to the stage number. You do that, you'll see what enemies come up. Tap the enemies, and you'll see what their strengths and weaknesses are. For example, this elite fixer drone takes 50% less energy and gravity damage. So on this stage, you're going to want to generally de-emphasize the energy and gravity ones to beat the boss easily, but sometimes the boss is a lot less dangerous than the mobs. So if the boss doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, then focus more on the weaknesses of the mobs. The Ravager Skiff takes more electric damage. The Frenzy Vanguard takes less energy damage but more electric damage. And then the Imperial Wing takes more energy damage and more radiation damage. So for 2 out of the 3, you're going to be using electric damage. And then for the Imperial Wing, takes more energy damage, despite the fact that the Frenzy Vanguard and the Fixer Drone take less energy damage. So whichever one is giving you the most trouble, you can kind of use whatever skill is emphasized with that one. Over here in the equipment area, you can equip new modules that you generally earn from playing different levels. Obviously, the chips, you can equip 5 chips per piece of equipment. There's a 6 chip slot available to unlock by spending 1,000 gems or diamonds, which is a buttload of diamonds for just 1 slot. But generally, you should be okay sticking with 5. You're going to be grinding a lot either way. The planet upgrades, you get a new one each time you gain a level. Then you got your ultimate upgrades, which you can find the level up tools, the alloys, during special events, and which aren't always happening. And then you can unlock new planets as well. All you got to do is get the shards for said planets. Those typically are extremely rare, also coming via special events or via the dungeons that you unlock a little later in the game. Tapping the lock button, it says it unlocks at level 15, but once that unlocks, you can play that daily for not only extra rare pieces of equipment, but for those planet upgrades and things like that. Mothership upgrades, these unlock same way a little bit later in the game, and via special events. Cosmo upgrades, once again, same deal there, and they give you extra buffs when you unlock those. Head to the store area. once a day you can watch an ad video for a free Omega chest and a free Nova chest. So be sure to do that daily, because those will give you new chips. The Omega chest will give you chips that are more on the rare side. You can tap the question mark next to it to see what your chances are of earning chips of each rarity. As you can see, you have a very small chance of unlocking ultimate chips, slightly smaller chance of supreme chips, somewhat small chance of legendary chips, bigger chances of epic, rare, and fine chips. No common chips there. Nova chest up here, you can unlock up to legendary, but mostly you're going to be unlocking common and fine chips, so a little bit of rare chips mixed in. But keep playing those and keep purchasing and using ad videos for those chests. I know the ad videos are kind of annoying based on principle, but that's simply part of grinding in a game like this. Down in the material shop, you can get blueprints, designs, and missile amplifiers by spending diamonds, which are obviously the premium currency of the game. Over in the coin shop, you got some free coins and some coins that you gotta spend diamonds for. Another good way to grind, go to the stage chests and look for the old stages where you have not yet perfect cleared or cleared at 50%. Tap that stage, you'll be able to play it again. We're going to play this one and show you what that's about, basically. Enemies here, no bosses. This dude is not weak against anything or strong against anything. This dude, the Blade Spiral, is weak against physical and electric. This dude is, the Ravager Skiff, is weak against electric. So we're going to start that battle. Now you can unlock double speed if you're a VIP status. Otherwise, you're kind of just stuck on single speed. But if you pause, you'll be able to see how much damage you have done with each one. Now, physical damage is what we want to emphasize here, but the beam is powerful enough that I like to equip that one anyways, even when nobody's really strong against it, because it auto aims. Now, unlike the other tower defense games by Cyberjoy, this one doesn't actually let you manually aim. Okay, physical, we like this. Water drop. At the bottom right corner, you'll see two buttons. One looks like a skull. One says auto. Ball lightning is electric. We're doing ball lightning. The skull button is the boss lock. You can either turn it off or turn it on, depending if you want to target the boss. We're going to go with... I'm not the biggest fan of the rail gun, so I'm going to upgrade the ball lightning here. Especially because you got multiple mobs that are weak against ball lightning. And then the auto button, as you can see here, if you turn it off, then you'll be able to use the ultimate skills manually. I like having it off most of the time unless I'm busy doing something else, but I also want to grind. Beam dealing increasing damage to the same target. That's a familiar upgrade from Galaxy Defense. That one's pretty good, but in this stage, because the enemies are weaker than in the newer stages, it may not be as useful. Beam extender, going with that. So because you can't auto aim, because you can't manually aim, you kind of just watch the action and upgrade as you gain levels. So that's what we're going to do right now. Another beam upgrade. I'm going to do that. Gravity Nova is extremely useful in tougher stages where you tend to get surrounded by enemies more, because it does a lot of splash damage. Now, my favorite skills in this game, and typically the ones that are going to be the most effective in this or almost any tower defense game, let's go with the missile upgrade, are the ones that do continuing damage over time instead of just doing damage once. That's why I don't really like the railgun too much. because each hit only does damage once unless you've got combo cards, which you can unlock a little bit later in the game. Alright, plasma ball explodes it, ball lightning duration 30. Let's go the exploding one. And you can watch the lightning ball and see kind of the differences that are made by each upgrade. Now, leaving it in manual, I like to use the ultimate at the latest point necessary, basically. Let's go Gravity Nova, since they're starting to get a little closer. Another skill that is very overpowered in this game, we'll see if it pops up, is, okay, it's not popping up here, but let's go missile damage, because the missiles are more valuable in this game than the base skills tend to be in some other games of this stripe. We'll tap the missile ultimate, use that. But there's a power-up called Constant Barrage, which releases small missiles constantly during cooldown. That one is extremely powerful and extremely useful, despite not being a rare skill and despite being one that's available to you right from the beginning of the game. So that one, whenever you see that, go for that one right away. Additionally, the water drop skill, let's go with, what do we got here? Ball lightning bounces, deals damage along the beam path. We're going that one. The water drop skill can be hard to see sometimes, but it actually is very valuable for the amount of damage that it does. We're going to use the ultimate there, and you can see that super fast little shot bouncing around. That is your water drop skill, and you can see it's doing massive amounts of damage compared to the other skills. We're going to use the ultimate beam skill here. There's 20 levels in each stage. Each level represents a wave. There's barrage mode. We're going to use barrage mode. So you can see that the little missiles, they're just going to fire off endlessly, and those do enough damage in the newer stages, or the ones that you've most recently unlocked, to make an impact. And in the stages where you're trying to go back and get perfect clears, they absolutely are game changers. Let's go ball lightning upgrade. Hit the pause button, and you can see which of your skills have done the most overall damage, and more importantly, have the highest DPS. So the highest DPS right now, surprisingly, belongs to the water drop. You're going to see that at the top a lot of times because it does so much damage. The beam obviously does a ton. The missiles have done a ton. The gravity wave, it doesn't look that high, but on stages where you're getting crowded more, it's going to be way higher and oftentimes near the top. And then the lightning ball is pretty decent here. A little lower than I would have expected, though, in DPS, from a stage where 2 out of the 3 mobs are weak against electric attacks. But that's okay. Maybe it's because I haven't used the ultimate either, but now I'm using the ultimate. We'll see how that affects things. Beam refracting on hit is a really valuable one, but also beam accompanied by a small ball lightning. I'm going to go with that because most of the enemies here are weak against electric attacks. So the beam is normally energy damage, but in this case it's going to do lightning damage. Not a whole lot of use for the gravity ultimate when you're not immediately surrounded by a bunch of enemies, but that's okay. And the water drop, we're going to make that explode because that'll do a little bit of area damage. And it already does a massive amount of damage when it's just a single hitter. Now we're getting closer to the end of the stage. They're starting to come a little bit closer, so missile ultimate again. There we go. Beam refracts again on hit, so that's 2 refractions here. Almost done with the level, so we're going to pause and see how the DPS is looking now. Now the missiles are the king of DPS by far, followed by the lightning ball, really made a comeback. The beam, 3rd place, still very high. Water drop down to 4th place in DPS. The gravity wave still low, but it's still very useful for when you're getting crowded more heavily, because it can do damage to a ton of enemies at a time. And when you upgrade it to shoot off multiple gravity waves per shot, then the damage significantly increases. But we let's see what we got. Common shield, blueprints so that we can upgrade the skills, missile amplifier, which lets you upgrade the missiles, weapon design, which upgrades the weapons module, aka the equipment, and then chips. So it says we got some upgrades to do now. Let's see what we can upgrade. Just leveled up, so we can upgrade the planet. Missile crit rate. This one is a pretty basic upgrade, of course. Not a whole lot of thought you have to put into it, but we got a bunch of new chips. So you can click around. Just because they're lower rarity doesn't make them less valuable necessarily. Some of them have skills that may be more preferable to what you're trying to do. Damage up to enemies within close range of the planet. I like ones like that, especially paired with the gravity wave. Enemies with debuffs, I don't really tend to use those because it's not that many enemies at a time that tend to be debuffed, especially early on. Physical damage is in general plus 4%, beam damage plus 7%, so depending on if you use those skills heavily or not, those can be very valuable sometimes. Immune to the first damage, counterattack damage of 50% of the character's attack. Gravity Nova damage. Now we don't have the chip yet, but there's often chips that will heal your planet in between waves. They can actually allow you to take a few hits and still perfect clear if you heal up to 100% of your health. And make sure to constantly be upgrading your skills over here. I don't have that many unlocked right now, but most of these skills are clones of some of the other Cyberjoy games where I have all the skills unlocked. So you can see what levels you can unlock them at and come here to upgrade them and increase their power significantly. Let's see. And then obviously, once you hit level 15, start playing these daily dungeons right away. All right. And the binary star. Aside from the daily dungeons, binary stars tend to have the highest rarity modules. So don't ignore the binary stars, especially if you're trying to grind for better equipment. Even when you lose on a binary star level, you still have a good shot of getting a rare module. So it's still very much worth playing. On the question mark screen, you can see what type of equipment you are able to earn. This one gives you a random module as high as epic quality. Epic quality is very rare. Usually you're going to get fine or rare quality. Fine quality, of course, is green. Rare quality is blue. You're going to get lots of epic quality ones from the daily dungeons once you unlock them, as well as a rare shot at earning legendary quality chips, which punch way above their tier level, which is definitely something that you want. Oh, we got a new stage chest. Will you take a look at that? There we go. So lots of weapon blueprints there and coins, which will allow us to upgrade weapon skills. Which one can we upgrade? The laser. So it does 589 damage, and the upgrade will take it to 627. And so it actually increases the range too. And as you upgrade, you'll get more skills that you'll get more power-ups that you can use for it in battle. All right. Anyway, this is Game Hydro. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe, please. And if you have a level request that you want to see us kind of break down that you can't beat in Planet Defense, be sure to leave it in the comments for sure. We will help you figure out how to beat it, and we'll post a breakdown.